On December 20th, 2025, an argument between two men living together erupted over the death of their dog. The dog apparently died from choking on, are you ready for this? A sex toy.
Say what?
Yes, you heard it right. A sex toy. One of the men got so pissed off at the accusation, retrieved a .40 caliber pistol and fired a warning shot in the air, asking his accuser to leave. The victim left and contacted the authorities, who then arrested the shooter and charged him. In October of 2025, a young lady shot what she first claimed was a warning shot into a vehicle on the I-95 near Jupiter, Florida. The victim was struck in the head, but managed to pull over and call for help. The shooter, however, later claimed that she was followed by the victim and his passenger and felt threatened, so she acted in self-defense. It was ultimately discovered that she simply doesn't like slow drivers in the left lane because they get in her way, and thought a warning shot would get them to move faster or move aside. You just can't make this stuff up. So, can warning shots be justified as use of force? If you get value out of this video, please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. It would be much appreciated. And a quick reminder that I am not an attorney and my opinion is not to be taken as legal advice. Let's get to it. Warning shots are extremely tricky. As gun owners, we have little, if any, room for error. Once a bullet leaves our gun, we cannot take it back. While warning shots in Florida are technically not explicitly defined, the 2014 so-called warning shot law allows for the defensive display of a firearm, including firing a warning shot, if done in legitimate self-defense, without it automatically being classified as deadly force. Let's face it though, it is very unlikely to be dismissed unless it was done just right, the prosecutor is in an exceptionally generous mood, or isn't convinced he or she can win the case. Otherwise, they are highly likely to treat it as an aggravated assault and/or unlawful discharge of a firearm in public. That's a long prison sentence if your legal team can't articulate how your actions were reasonable and raise serious reasonable doubt for the jury. As gun owners, just about every one of us was likely taught that if we reach for our firearm because we have a reasonable belief of imminent great bodily harm and/or death to ourselves or another, it better be with the intention to use it.
None of my business, friend, but you carry a firearm, you better be ready to use it.
If you want the exact language, look up Florida Statute 776.012 and 013. I'll left a link in the description for both. Threatening to use deadly force, which a warning shot would be considered as such, is looked at the same way as using deadly force outright. They're mentioned in the same sentence in the statute. The law also states that you may only use force that is proportional to the force being used against you. Let's use the two incidents from the beginning of the video as examples. In the first incident, the victim did not use any force at all. They were having a verbal altercation. No physical force was reported. The shooter ran out of excuses, so he decided to use a gun. Not proportional or reasonable. The second incident offered even less reasons to use or threaten to use deadly force. No argument and no threat from the victim whatsoever. Just a pissed off idiot who didn't like slow drivers and decided to use or threaten to use deadly force. Not proportional or reasonable either. So, if someone is trespassing on your property without posing a deadly threat, you cannot use a warning shot as a request to get off your property. If someone, all things being equal, punches you, slaps you, shoves you, spits on you, or uses non-deadly force against you, provoked or otherwise, you cannot use or threaten to use deadly force. That means no warning shot. You cannot even display or brandish your firearm to make the point. Again, while all things being equal. If someone is twice your size and weight, holds a blunt instrument, or if you're outnumbered with no way out and it's clear your life or that of another is in grave danger, the equation changes. But you better have clear evidence of that and be able to articulate it if need be. If, as we all ought to accept, a firearm is to be used as an absolute last resort, a warning shot is most likely not a last resort. If you have the time to warn someone verbally, and then, if they don't comply, you escalate your message of deterrence with a warning shot that isn't even aimed at them directly. You may have a tough time explaining how the danger was imminent. A reasonable person will likely see it as negligence, and you can bet your bottom dollar that a prosecutor will go to town on such an act. I believe the message is clear. Avoid using warning shots. Unless you're facing imminent death, great bodily harm, or are stopping a forcible felony, keep your firearm out of the equation. Just because you don't have a duty to retreat doesn't mean you shouldn't retreat. Seek de-escalation and safety first. Once that firearm comes out, your life changes and impacts your loved ones' lives too. Just because you have a gun and can escalate your defense doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. So, in my opinion, regardless of the perceived leeway the 2014 warning shot law may allow you, I'd strongly recommend you don't put that leeway to the test. If you enjoy this video, please smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and watch the next video right here. Train hard, often, and safely, and I'll see you at the range.